So we can't just buy a license like a radio station and play music?
No, and Universal's come out and said that unfortunately, the radio station, what they do is they get rights from ASCAP and BMI. And so they get commercial rights. So anytime you're in a bar and you hear, I got friends in low places playing over the radio, they have to pay every time that's used, and the artist does get compensated. If we could do that, that would be great, but you wouldn't be able to sync it up to video. So if you just want to be an audio only stream, go nuts.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so what about like games like Rock Band or singing karaoke or Just Dance? Like that, some of these games have that music in them.
So
is that
something came out recently, Grand Theft Auto 2, I believe, or it's had some tracks in it. I think it was 2. I might be wrong on that. Had tracks in it that were, popular tracks and major hip hop hits. And so what ended up happening was they only got those rights very short-sightedly to play those tracks in the game for something like 5 years.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And so when they tried to get a re-release, those rights had expired. And so they couldn't re-release with those tracks. They get completely new tracks in. Otherwise, everything they had done, they would have been sued. The pants would have been sued off of them. However, it's important to remember that even if Grand Theft Auto has the right to synchronize that music in time with the video on the game, the cinematic part of the game, that contract is between Grand Theft Auto and the artist, or the artists, however. It is not between Grand Theft Auto, the artist, and you.
Mm-hmm.
Is it different if you're performing, though?
What was that?
Is it different if you're performing, if you're singing the song or dancing,
So if you're performing, what you're doing is you're creating a cover. So I could come out here and sing Katy Perry's. She sang "Roar," right? That was a popular song of hers. Yeah, I could come out and sing "Roar." I'm not going to do it right now. I've had a lot of coffee, but if come on,
tease.
Man, that you have to bring me back for that one. So I could come out and sing "Roar" right now. What I've done is I've created a cover. I have a right to make a cover. However, the right to authorize covers is issued by the rights holder. Let me break it down a little bit simpler because we're going to go into the weeds real quick. Hold on. Think of music rights as here we go, a bundle of sticks. I have 3 highlighters here. This is the performance right. It's a completely separate right. I own this right. If I want to give you this right to perform, I copy this and give it to you, Lowco. This is the right to make a cover. I can copy this and give it to you, Hunter. This is the right to create a derivative work. And a derivative work is something like a cover. If I give you the right to create a derivative work, cool. You can sing that song. You can release that song if you want. And you have something called a mechanical license, which allows you to create covers and sell them on iTunes for a set price. However, what I'm not giving you the right is to synchronize the underlying composition. So even if you're not using Katy Perry's version of Roar, the author of Roar has a synchronization right that you got to get as well.
Oof.
You following me there?
How does this work with things like Weird Al?
Weird Al gets the rights directly from the music owners. The one time he did it, he didn't release the track. He'll record it. He'll send it to them and say, "This is what I want to do. Can I release this?" Get everything in writing. But he's got unreleased songs.
He's not making money off of that yet, so it's not an issue.
Yeah, exactly.
So what if the game has the right to that song? You're still subject to the DMCA?
I'm sorry, what was that? I had thunder literally hit.
Yeah, I can hear a little bit of it.
I heard that too. So if you're playing a game that has the rights,
right?
Are you still are you still not safe?
Yeah. So for instance, if you're playing Fallout 76 and a really catchy cover of Country Roads comes on, and you theoretically could get a DMCA for that because Fallout 76 has the right, but you don't.
Interesting.
Yeah. So be very careful. That's the number one thing I can tell streamers is if you have in-game music, turn off all in-game music and turn off all in-game sounds.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter how much.
Yeah. Well, I think
we'll see games like now give this an option in the settings, like to turn off copyright music.
And that's fine. That's part of it.
I really think that I would love to see that happening more. There have been some games. I think the first one I saw it in was Steep, which was my favorite realistic snowboarding game or snow sports game. They had the option to turn off the copyrighted music, and so they would have this, like these ambient sounds and just some stuff that was kind of like jazzing you up a little bit, but it wasn't anything that wasn't recognizable. It's kind of generic but catchy. Right. Something they had created for that. That was fantastic. The first time I saw that, I was like, "That's so great!" Now my VOD's not going to be muted, even though the music's in the game. I can select this. I can turn this on and off. That awareness of the streaming and content creation space by the developers, I think, is incredible. I mean, it's great. I'd love to see so much more of that. And it seems like a relatively easy thing to do as well.
It is. And one of the things that I would recommend in that when we're talking about this space, one of the things that I see all the time on YouTube videos is no copyright intended, or this is non-copyrighted music or something like that. Keep in mind, once it's fixed in a tangible medium of expression, copyright attaches. It'll always have a copyright. It's whether or not you have the right to use it. So I think what they gave you was they gave you the right to use that music in the game, which I think is awesome. And I would love to see more people doing that.